Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, y'all stand.
Let us pray.
Oh, we're gonna do the pledge first, usually.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think-
It's all right. Oh, we don't have to do it in that order.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, pledge it. American flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag. Honor the
Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
How can we pray? God, we thank you for this day you've given us, and we ask for your blessings as we move forward with each and every day ahead. And we ask you to bless the people of our county, and we ask for your help to keep everyone healthy and safe. Please give those people that are sick the strength to heal. We pray for your guidance and wisdom to make wise decisions for our county for the matters at hand. We also pray for you to look after our first responders and our emergency personnel and keep them out of harm's way. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Exactly. Oh, okay. No, that's good. You're gonna hold on to it. Okay, did y'all have a chance to look over the bills? Any questions?
Motion to pay the bills.
Okay, we have a motion and second to pay the bills. Any further discussion? All in favor? Great. Do we have any payroll, Amy? Okay. Item 5 is to accept any additions or corrections to our previous Commissioners Court meeting.
No corrections or additions to the regular meeting of February 27th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. Item 6, any public comments? Oh, hearing none, we'll go on to item 7, which is to consider and or approve North Plains Electric Cooperative notification to construct an overhead electrical line. This is different from last time. Made sure, I think this is on County Road 21. 1 mile south of Highway 281.
And they're pretty much the same thing
Mhm.
we've done before.
Was that a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the electric line. North Plains Electric Co-op.
And I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Right, item A is to consider and or approve carrier access agreement with Valero Marketing. Is that you, Dwayne? Okay,
This is just a new access agreement from Valero so that we can pick up asphalt for the pump. They never required this form before, but they do now. And I left you a note there. Craig looked over it and
Yes.
he did want us to know that one fact that he put in there. They, I give you. It's just stating that it's the way it's worded. He just wanted to be aware of it. But he said there's no problem with the contractors.
and the only thing Craig said was that the indemnity language shifts liability to the county unless Valero is wholly at fault. He said just to note that.
Yeah, he wanted us to know that.
I'll make a motion to approve the carrier access agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 9 is to consider and or approve interlocal agreement for lease of election equipment.
Yes, this is for the Plymouth Stinnett ISD trustee and bond election that they're having for early voting and election day. The lease of our election equipment.
And Craig has approved it.
He has approved it, yes.
I move to enter into an interlocal agreement with PSP in regards of leasing the election equipment.
We're here a second.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 10 is to consider and or approve new opioid settlement participation. So we got some new information that there's some additional opioid settlements that are out there. We have entered into the previous ones, and Craig has worked on, keeping up to date with that information. There's a new participation with Allergan, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart settlements. And he looked over all of the information and said everything looks fine. So we just need permission from the court to go ahead and enter into those settlement agreements.
I'll move to enter into those settlement agreements.
Okay, we have a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 11 is to consider and or approve interlocal cooperation contract for applicant development and management services community development program. So do y'all remember when the Christian Campbell from PRPC came and spoke to the court about the dispute resolution through PRPC, and that there are funds that we collect out of every court cost that are collected and then sent to the state unless we have a dispute resolution like contract with PRPC. And so with this, that would allow our county funds to go to PRPC to administer that program instead of just going back to the state. And so Craig has been working on that, and he spoke to the district judges, and everyone is in agreement that this probably needs to happen. The dispute resolution usually occurs up in the district court, but our JPs also have access to it if they want to use their services. So, and Craig looked over everything and said everything looks fine with the agreement. Do I hear a motion?
I move to enter, let me read that again. I move to enter into a cooperation contract with PRPC in the development management services for the community development program.
Second. Okay, a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve job descriptions for road and bridge supervisor, IT director, library director, museum director, and airport manager. What, you have anything?
Oh, these are, basically, they're the exact same thing I presented to the court in March of 2021. I was asked to take it to the employees to kind of get their input as well. So I did that. And everyone I spoke to, we made a few modifications to it. And the only one who I didn't speak to in person is Clay, but he did email me what his recommendation was. So I made a few changes towards that.
Okay.
And that's it.
So everybody is in agreement with their
Yes.
job description. Okay. The only thing I will add is that I've had a chance to read through those, and there's just a few little typos. So
Oh,
if this
Good.
passes today, it'll be contingent on just cleaning that
Into the
up.
typos. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's not uncommon for me. So I move to implement, or I guess to approve the job descriptions for the road and bridge supervisor, IT director, library director, museum director, and airport manager as presented with the corrections to the grammar and typos.
Good. Thank you.
And I'll second it.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve Hutchinson County Airport Advisory Board bylaws. Gary, do you have anything to add on that?
We looked through those, Dwight and I worked on that, and made a few little minor changes. Nothing that Lee objects to either, so I think they're good to go.
Okay.
And we even had Craig look at them.
Okay, good.
So I think they'd be ready to go. So I'll make a motion that we,
Changes to what we have
No,
or that.
We didn't have any that we were
Yeah.
could find.
Gary made changes
To-
before I presented them.
So this is what we're gonna pass, what we
Yeah.
sent out. Okay,
yeah,
That's what Craig added.
sorry.
so I'll make a motion that we approve the Hudson County Airport Advisory Board bylaws.
Second.
A motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Okay, item 14 is to consider and approve Roman Alejandro appointment through T. Cole as constable. This is just his T. Cole information. Did you get that? See where I'm, oh, here it is. I think we did Angelica's last time. Yes. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve Roman's appointment through T. Cole as constable.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 15, consider and or approve Sheriff's Department vehicle trade-ins. Sheriff, do you have anything? Do what?
I think it's right. I mean,
So the 2012 Chevy, you can trade for 2,500 and the Crown Vic for 500. Is that what we're gonna go with?
That's kind of low on wholesale, but I don't know if it will beat it anywhere else.
Okay.
Put it in an auction, it's probably not gonna beat it much.
On the Crown Vic, there's no mileage, you can't read it, so I was told that it's probably rolled over, and that's.
Is that the one that runs or doesn't run? There's two of them. Right?
I sent pictures over to him and everything, and there's no mileage on it, that's the reason he's only given it.
Did you send the pictures to? I didn't get any.
I'll send it down to the,
Oh, the guy that's gonna give you the trade.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and
I don't know. There's two of them down there at the airport, but I don't know which one this is. I don't,
Well, if one of
the
them.
one we did on the transfers and trades, that should be the one that runs.
all I know is the 2007 Crown Vic.
Pretty sure it's the one that runs.
So
Yeah, I have.
maybe we should check with the auction people.
So we could check with Asseter or Purple Wave or somebody like that.
The Purple Wave guys, you know, they were at our conference and they don't charge us at
Well,
3%.
Purple Wave's a good place to buy, not really sell, but it's okay.
We can check with them.
If we don't trade it, then we're gonna have to run it to an auction somewhere.
Mhm.
How often does the county normally have the auctions? There's only been one since I've been here. Or actually, it was before I was
Yeah,
here.
it was once during my term before you were here, but that's it.
I think so. Yeah. Not that often, but I mean, I don't think we have to have, do we have to have an amount? Or can we just call them and say, hey, we got a couple vehicles?
They just bring.
I don't know how it
bring
works.
It's like any other auction.
On these trade-ins, I do know that they will pick them up when they drop off the new vehicles.
Okay.
And that's what he did, so we don't have to worry about taking them down there or anywhere like that, or paying to have them picked up.
Yeah, if you put them like if you put it in Purple Wave, you can auction them on site. If you do it with like, say, Hasseter or someone like that, you got to deliver them down the road when they have the next auction.
Okay. I think it'd be worth checking with them. It's just my thought.
So
I think the city has a sale with Purple Wave. They have to lift stuff about twice a year. They would let us add.
Mhm.
They're locked down there. reviewing it. Everything.
When are they gonna be doing the next one? Do you know?
I don't know. I can find out.
Can I ask a question? Are the commissioners in charge of doing all that for other departments? Because once we give them the vehicle,
There's still county assets.
so we're in charge of auctioning off people's
I mean,
properties and stuff.
yeah, we want to get the
Surplus
best,
equipment.
yeah.
You're giving the asset to the department.
So there's a few closets I need to go through around here in the courthouse.
Do what?
There's a few closets I need to go through in the courthouse.
Mhm.
No,
Not writing
They
anything.
haven't used alternates in years. If we start this, we'll probably be doing a lot of it, so. I don't know.
What do y'all think?
I'm always into looking at every option available. It won't,
We can try it. If it don't work, then don't do it again.
it'll be just something to try.
We know what we were offered, so we'll test it out and see if it works.
There we go.
If it don't, we say, we shouldn't have done that.
So no action on that item at present. We might want to revisit it once we talk to the auction people. Get
They
their
can't
opinion.
tell us anything except when they're having the next auction.
Yeah.
We're not gonna know anything else.
The only issue that's gonna cost for us is when we get the people next week or whatever. I need to know if we're gonna trade something in and get money back, or we're gonna go back to the auction. Just pay it or whatever.
We probably need to say now that we're not gonna do a trade-in. If that's,
Yeah.
well, I guess we would have.
I
to
think
figure
let's
out.
try it. Yeah.
What, just so I can, know.
Well, I think when we approved it, if I remember watching you guys last week or last time, y'all approved an amount minus the trade-in, didn't you?
Right.
We did.
I was eating popcorn watching it. Not really.
I'll make a motion to not trade in the 2012 Chevy and the 2007 Crown Vic, and there'll be no trade-ins on the sheriff's purchase.
I second it, sorry.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Okay.
We're waiting for Chris.
Yeah, I started asking.
Okay, item 16, consider and or approve the prescribed fire burn plan for the National Park Service. Jason McDaniel is here from the Park Service with his plan. And so y'all can ask him any questions you want to.
Oh, please don't.
So Jason, when we were in 8th grade,
Yeah,
okay, go
I
ahead.
don't remember that far back.
But you might just explain why we have the plan and what the purpose of it is. And
Yeah, so with the National Park Service, for us to do our prescribed fires on the federal lands. We write a burn plan, which this is our burn plan for the National Park Service, that we write to. This unit is basically from Blue West Boat Ramp across the Bridge Fortress and anything north of that towards Bugby is what this plan covers, and mostly all in Hutchinson County. So we write this plan. It basically tells us we do our behavior runs and find out like what fire behavior we can expect and all them kind of things. So that way, when we know the fire behavior, we know how many types of engines we need, what size engines we need, how many personnel we gotta have on scene and all that kind of stuff. So we do all of our computer stuff, get it all in here. And so like to burn behind Bugby, like we're wanting to do soon. I need 5 Type 6 engines, 1 Type 3 engine. I need so many people for holding, so many people to ignitions and all that stuff, and it's all written inside here. And I have to have certain weather patterns, so I have to have, north winds or certain mile per hour. I can't go over a certain mile per hour. I have a threshold, or the fuels are too dry. I gotta shut off the burn plan because the fuels are too dry. We're getting too high fire behavior. And so most of the time for the federal government, we don't have to go through all of this to get approval, but we like to, since you are in a burn ban, we do like to play well with others and go through the process to get approval through everybody. Because we want to play nice with everybody and keep everybody on the same page and everybody understanding what we're doing. All that good stuff.
so this is just a courtesy for Hutchinson County that they let us know that they could burn whenever they want, but they're gonna make sure that
We
they're
appreciate.
keeping everybody safe.
Yeah. Makes things a little easier.
So you guys know what you're doing, so.
We like.
I think they know what they're doing.
But yeah, unlike this burn, I'll be calling in like people from Grand Canyon and El Malpais and probably Rocky Mountain National Park. You know, all the different national parks to come in and help us get our core folks. And our core folks, meaning that's the people that I have to have on site. And then what we do is also invite like Stinnett, Fridge, Borger, Bonner County, Dumas, you know, all them guys to come and be our on-site contingency resources. And instead of having them like, oh, we have then they respond. We like to have them on site, and then plus it gives a little training for them to see how we do things, see how we light stuff on fire. Practice holding, give them a little time on a torch, practicing that. And
The other national parks, do they bring their own engines?
yes, sir.
No. So you ought to have plenty.
Yeah, so we've got Rocky Mountain, I've got Alpine Hot Shots, probably might be coming down as well. See if it all times out right. Yeah, we have the hold the lure, folks that we can call and help us out. So, it's perfect weather window.
Right.
Yeah,
So I move, although not necessary, but I move to approve the prescribed burn plan for the National Park Service.
I second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank
Thank you.
you. Jason. Okay, item 17, we're going to go into executive session and 551.074 personnel matters. So everyone will just have a seat in the hallway, except I believe the sheriff and Monica. Wait, just. a minute. Okay, we went out or into executive session at 9:53. And back in open session at 10:13. Okay. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is to consider and or approve any action from our executive session.
I move to authorize Cincy County Jail Sheriff's Department to hire a temporary cook.
No, second it.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 19 is to consider and or approve obtaining credit cards from city for various departments and or individuals. Lisa has the list. I think
everybody a list. I included the ones who are requesting the cards for city, kind of their monthly credit limit that they requested. A lot of people really didn't know what to ask for, so I think they kind of just threw something out there. I kind of looked based on what had been spent in the past and kind of made some recommendations, but we just need to approve these people requesting cards and their credit limits as well.
okay, so we have what they've requested and what you're recommending.
Yes. And so like, I don't know if you want to go through each one or if you want to.
I do want
Has this overall, city's given us an $80,000 limit. Now that's a month,
Yes.
$80,000 a month limit. So we have to divide that up between everybody. If
And
everyone,
we don't have to divide the whole thing up.
no,
You can leave it, you know, to where you, you can also do temporary credit increases. So, if say you've requested a $1,500 credit limit and you're gonna go on a week-long travel and you're gonna need more than that, you can bump it up to 2,000 temporarily and it'll have an expiration date so that whenever you get back, it automatically goes back down to the 1,500.
right, okay.
And I know we've stated this before, but this doesn't replace, we have charge accounts at Ace, Crown Supply, Gerald's, you still use
Those
those.
charge accounts.
Any vendors that you have that they invoice us, continue to use those. So your credit card doesn't replace those things.
The credit card still mostly is just for travel. Booking hotels.
I think that's why
Airlines.
some people raise their limit because they were still under the impression that this was going to be all their any
supplies and
office
everything.
orders and everything. So I just wanted to clarify.
Department heads still have to manage the money.
Right.
And there's a trust factor involved in that too.
Yeah.
So we're approving what you recommend, those levels? Or we,
I don't know if you want to go by line and say, yes, this credit limit's fine, or if you want to just go off my recommendations, or if you want to make changes to certain ones.
but I'm fine with what you approve or recommend, because at
What's
least
the-
12,000.
And I figured too, if we start a little lower and then so the credit cards that we have now, I think the county clerk, the sheriff, the jail, county judge, IT, they have a card that they use for travel. And the most that we've paid with all of them together is $3,200 in 1 month, in the last 12 months. So I think that this gives everybody plenty of room, but if it doesn't, then we've got room to move up if we need to.
What, on the department cards, what are the two Hutchinson County cards?
So those are the ones that will be in my office.
Oh, okay.
That anybody can
Can
come
check
and
out.
check out.
Okay,
When is,
And this is not a you either got one now or you don't get, they can still.
They'll apply for it
one
later.
Later. if-
Is there a date when you're gonna allow
Um,
somebody to apply again, or?
City is still working on getting everything set up. I just now got access to the online. I'm thinking we can probably start ordering cards in a couple weeks, maybe next week. I don't know how long it will take. But no, but anytime they have to come to me with their request and then I will bring it to the commissioner court. They can do a request at any time. We just can't do it.
It has to be approved
Right.
through Commissioner's Court.
Yes. So
You want to hear,
actually do
the
that.
sheriff's department wants to hear what y'all
Yeah,
requested?
because we were told to put down what we would like, but I didn't know that there was also going to be, the recommend what we should get. So I would like to know if.
So I just
put it on
changed,
If it's staying the same or y'all changing it to what you feel like, what you want to recommend.
the jail, you requested 2,500 and I just changed that to 2,000
On each card.
on each of the jail
Okay,
cards.
what's the
On the
jail?
sheriff, you requested 5,000 and I changed that to 3,000.
Okay.
Like I said, there's way, I mean, we can move up if we need to, but I thought we would start lower. Plus we only have a certain amount to work with for everybody.
Yeah, that'll work. It's like, I do know, like, in the month of June, I have like 3 people out at training and for example, even at the jail, when we have people go down to training and their hotel room could be about $900, and then not too long ago, the jail van had to get all brand new tires while they were down, picking up what inmates.
A lot of times those charges won't all be in the same month. A lot of times you'll
Yeah.
book the hotel, beforehand or something. And then,
I just want to make sure that they're all covered.
and this is kind of
It's just real easy to raise it to
Learning curve.
a
anymore.
learning curve, yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, this gives us enough credit limit in the bank, basically, to adjust if we need to.
And this will,
Good with those.
this will replace, if departments already have credit cards, this will replace those credit cards.
Even if the limit's too high, it's not hurting anything. It doesn't mean you gotta spend it.
Right, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You gotta
But
manage your
for an
money in each
insurance
department, no
control,
matter what.
Yeah,
Better
they
to
changed the
keep
line
it as
items.
low as
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still operating
Matter
under
if
the
they're too
budget.
high.
Yeah.
You still gotta manage your money. So, even if they're what they're requesting, that's not horrible. You still gotta manage your own department.
Anybody have any other questions or comments about this?
It was- And,
I have some, I can have a few, and my stuff may be better suited for the committee, for the policy committee as opposed to this group. But just a little clarification, first off, I just found out about this. We found out about credit card policy a little over a week ago. And we found out late Thursday that it was mandatory. That we had to use the credit card. And so that's just kind of I've got an issue with that personally, and you tell me whether my complaint better suited for the committee or better for this group today. And then I have another question.
Well, we have already approved the policy, so if it's a policy change, probably needs to come back to the committee for some discussion.
And so the policy is that it's mandatory, that you will receive no reimbursement other than the credit card once the credit cards are in play.
Well, I think that was discretionary on the commissioner's court. Now, if it's elective use, like I just want to use my own credit card because I get all the reward points, then. But if it's like Dwayne was saying, a situation where there was something that came up that the county card wasn't working and he had no other choice but to get this part to use his own card, then that is discretionary.
What if you don't want to use the cards, being worried about the fraud associated with using the card? Because that's what I deal with professionally, is fraud from credit cards. So what if my staff doesn't want to use the card? I don't want them.
So how do they pay for their expenses then when they go?
It's rare, but it's reimbursement. It's through the reimbursement. We've been.
So but how do they pay for it? They just pay cash?
Their card.
Their own card.
Card or cash.
So they don't worry about fraud from their own card?
Well, I'm talking about, I prosecute people all the time for using company cards. City cards.
Oh.
and municipality cards. I'm talking about that aspect of it. That's my concern, is a fraud associated with the card. Because that's what I do. That's what I deal with. I'm dealing right now with the case from a local municipality on the credit card abuse.
See,
That's why we have a
I'm not
policy,
paying for
isn't it?
that reason,
I mean, that,
and
that,
so.
we have a policy for that though, saying, I mean, no matter what, I mean, if they go and use their personal card and fraud the county on our time, then we're still gonna be looking at.
see, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. I'd rather use my own card because I don't use it much anyway. I'd rather use my own card and be reimbursed. I don't want a credit card for the county. Now, the courthouse is going to have one for my business, but it can stay in the auditor's office. I'm not keeping up with it. Eddie can go check it out there. But for my own travel expense and whatever, I'll do my own thing. And if the county don't want to pay for it, I'll pay for it myself. But the reimbursement thing is, I don't like this. So that's just my opinion.
Well, I love it. It's the way all government entities operate.
Yep.
And so, I know there will be fraud because you're prosecuting, but I promise you, and as long as I've been doing this, there's also fraud without a credit card system happening in municipalities and government agencies. It's just something, anytime you do it, it has more control. We're already using credit cards, as she stated, in all these department heads anyway. So this is just making them more uniform.
And I don't have a problem with departments using cards. Some, like the officials, that works better. I understand you're asking employees to go out there and use their personal card to make major expenses. I understand that 100%. My issue is the mandatory aspect of when the department doesn't want a card and they have to use it.
I agree.
That's my issue with it. But like I said, I may be better suited for talking to the committee at a later time since it's already been approved. My only issue with you guys is if we requested a card, that I have to from this point on. Then that'd be withdrawn later if the committee chooses to change the policy or something at a later time.
Yeah, everything's negotiable.
But you can check out the card, if you don't have it like on the, they don't have it. Go and check out.
Yeah, you don't have to personally keep up with the card. You could just go check it out from Leisha when you need it.
You know, if I'm, say something happens here at the courthouse, it's, card doesn't work or something's broke and we need a piece, I need to run down roll and get a part. I'm gonna go get the part.
But that's
And,
the
that's
exception. That's the exception.
Right.
That's going to be my normal thing, not an exception. Which happens very rarely.
So that's.
We get by pretty well without using credit cards, but
I mean, we're trying to make the exception the norm, and that's not gonna happen. I mean, that, like you just said, that rarely happens. So I mean, that we can meet on those and say that it's still an exception with reimbursement.
I'm not carrying a county credit card, so whatever y'all want to do.
And on the travel and stuff, we can still give the documentation up front, get a check to take with us, right?
We
I
don't
mean,
have
if
to
you
use
book
a
the
card.
hotels, we can.
So just say what now?
So when you book a hotel, if you know what they say is going to be charged, you can bring it to the bills and take a check down for each conference and have a check ready to go already.
Like, there you
And
go.
not have to worry about, I mean, you know, the price.
I mean, there's a lot of departments that do that.
That's what I do most of the time, so I don't have to get reimbursed.
How do you handle a situation? I've got expenditure right now and I've got expenditure coming up soon that's cash only.
How'd you do it before?
I would pay for it, get reimbursed.
Then you would bring it to-
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Then
You don't
bring it
have
up.
to use your credit card for
I
that.
was told I had to use credit card. I was told I would not get reimbursement.
If you use your personal card,
What's the difference if I pay something with cash and I pay something with a personal credit?
because normally you're getting rewards.
County cash.
We're on the same page.
First off, not against the law to get rewarded. I'm not doing, I don't think no, my understanding is not.
The county's getting rewards from these cards. Right?
Right. Oh, yeah, it's not, no, nothing against the law. Yeah,
No,
as long as it's not cash value,
Yeah, well, it's like cash back card.
but you can get air flight mileage.
yeah.
So I can pay for a flight with cash. You'll reimburse me.
See, you're saying
But if
no.
I pay it with a card, just because I'm being punished because I get points, you can't get a card that doesn't have some sort of point system in it.
And it's not illegal to get those.
That we use our own credit card, that then we have to bring that to Commissioners Court to get it approved, to get reimbursed after
Yes.
we've used it.
That's what the policy.
Yes.
Yes, that's what the policy says.
So you still can use it.
Court to get it approved, to get reimbursed back.
So I think that it was.
So are you saying
originally
that's put on the
thought that
bills or
you
it has to
said
be
it
a,
this way, if it's a credit
it's on the
card
agenda?
expense, there are credit cards available now through the county that you should use the credit card available through the county. You'll still get reimbursement for mileage that you drive. You'll still get reimbursement for your meal per diem. If there is a weird kind of expenditure where you do have to pay cash, then that would be fine, but that's not gonna be a normal expenditure. Like he said, we're thinking of all of these different what ifs, whenever this is a basic blanket policy, it's not gonna cover every single situation. And so if it does come up that there's a weird, you have to pay cash for some sort of registration or something, then that would be something that could be reimbursable. Maybe we need to adjust the policy to say something a little differently, or if you want to make it where it's optional, that they can use the card on their travel. I mean, it just needs to be stated in the policy.
I think it is changed.
So that's a policy committee.
Yes, that is.
Action.
Policy committee action, and it'll have to come to the court for approval again.
So does the policy committee want to schedule a meeting?
Okay.
If there's some discussion that needs to take place?
Yeah, and I'd be glad to come forward there.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Perfect.
And I don't know if today's the proper place. I'm not running.
No, it's fine.
No, it's good to hear.
Good to talk
Yeah.
about stuff.
I just found out about all this on Thursday.
And then, and I do want to say that is why it's important that our county officials pay attention to our meetings, our agendas. What we talked about this like 6 months ago. And I mean, and I'm not calling you out. I'm not saying, I'm not including you. I'm just saying in general, that's why we have to have that communication with each other to where this doesn't blindside. I mean, because when this happens, it automatically becomes like a us versus them type of thing. And then walls go up and people are like, man, what's going on? We're going to get screwed over.
It's a policy.
Was this publicized that it was mandatory before? Because I haven't seen that publicized anywhere that it was made.
Well, I don't, about what, about,
Discussed that there was, change, and I understand why you'd want a uniform credit card. That makes absolute sense. I just didn't think it ever been discussed openly that it was a
mandatory to have a card or mandatory to use them, like.
mandatory to, if you're gonna.
And not use your personal card.
So it was in the policy that I sent out, not this past Thursday, but the Thursday.
And you sent that
before.
to all elected officials, right?
Yes, and I just sent out another blurb because I had made the PowerPoint kind of highlighting all of
And
the.
that's what, and maybe
And I left, it was in the written policy, I just didn't put it in the PowerPoint presentation that I also shared. And so that's why whenever I sent last week saying, oh, I didn't point this out in that spreadsheet, but it is in the policy that I also attached.
And so I don't know if there's miscommunication, because from my understanding, when we talked about it, we wanted exceptions for those types of expenditures. And so we said that would come to the court and we would talk about, we don't want blanket, just
It's not
everybody like
one size
cash
fits
or
all.
everybody using their personal stuff when they don't have to. But we also didn't want to say it's mandatory. So I apologize that if it was misconstrued. And if it is in the policy that way, we do need to ensure that there are discretionary reimbursement options.
I
talked
don't
about
think
that.
it's worded that way. It is worded like,
Yeah.
it just will not be reimbursed. This is the way, or maybe it's the way it's interpreted. Maybe that's the way it's written.
Exceptions have to be.
Come to the commissioner's court. Yeah, she changed it.
I can't just say, yes, I can
I
reimburse.
think the wording needs to be revisited and looked at.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out there.
So as far as these requests right here, do we want to approve these people that have asked for cards? And knowing what the policy states now, everybody still asks for a card. And policy committee can revisit.
Mark, can I ask you, I know it might be better for the committee, but is that the only kind of concerns that you have, or are there other?
My
Because I want to hear
my
everything.
concerns are really twofold. Number one is I just see fraud in a card.
Yeah.
I do have a concern with fraud in a card. You will have fraud on the card. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Because I see it all the time. You will have it. And then you're gonna come to me, what needs to fix it? You know, because I'm gonna be the one being told, well, you need to prosecute this case,
Well-
and I'm the one telling you guys, I'm not sure if it's a good idea.
If we find fraud, I'm gonna say straight up, I mean, if we're over them, then I will terminate them immediately.
Well,
I mean,
it's a problem with fraud. It's not always that clear.
but we're having fraud. I mean, we have fraud now.
Oh,
I mean, there's things about time, hours. I mean, there's stuff that's going on now too.
You're just adding another possible venue
Right.
to a vehicle to have fraud on. What I would suggest is if you, and I've done very little research because it just hit me so late. But I would like for these cards to have I know you can put a PIN number on a credit card. If it's possible, I would like to have a PIN number on the card. That would reduce fraud and the department assign PIN numbers. Because I'm dealing with a case right now for another local agency, and that's the only thing that's going to save them. On that case, is back to the department sign. Because when people say, because people do accidentally pull out their own card,
Right.
but people also, the 10 times that happened, 8 times, they didn't really pull out their own card.
Oh, yeah.
So,
They're floated till next month. And so, and sometimes, I mean, they do make those mistakes. If you have a designated PIN number that's different from their personal PIN, don't let them choose it.
right, that's true.
Then you're going to that's going to be a little help to eliminate the cards. I know.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, good idea.
So
Yeah.
you're not on the committee?
No,
Would you be willing, since you would be our avenue to go after fraud, would you partner with that committee to try to make sure that we can crack down on that as much as
oh,
possible?
I don't have, yeah. that'd be
And do we
fine.
have those options,
I mean,
Lisa?
that's a good, I mean, I'd never even thought about that. You need that.
Not positive, but probably.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
I'm definitely talk about that because
Okay.
I think that's.
And I'm not there.
No, those are great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
It just-
Thank you.
It needs to be, the PIN needs to also be assigned by the department, not something that the employee gets to pick up on PIN.
Right.
See, I'd love, yeah,
You know,
I never thought of that.
Talking to Dwayne, using the gas card they have now, they have put in the mileage and a PIN. Well, that kind of eliminates, that was a mistake in the next.
Good
Those
stuff.
are rules.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
So I move to approve all those requested cards and the amounts, the recommendation from the auditor.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, great. We'll need to sign this.
And thank you guys, everyone who contributed.
Yes, appreciate y'all. All right, item 20 is to consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. So the first thing we're going to do is hear a quick update from Julie Winters on from the United Way grant. I think that was one of the things when we approved that request to the United Way that they come and give us some updates on where they're at with their project. So Julie said she'd come every few months to give us an update. So thank you.
So we'd like to do quarterly report, if that's okay with y'all, if you want to do that. So, the first of the year, we hired our full-time peer support specialist, Rico Goff, and he's working closely with drug court. He has 6 clients that he's helping. He is I don't know if counseling is the right word, but he's having those conversations with them. And he has 2 people at large in the community. So people are already figuring out that we have this service and are finding him. He's getting some referrals from CPS clients. And I think it's just starting to gel. I mean, the work, word's getting out that we have the service they're able to provide. When he first came, he just started meeting the different organizations in town so he could figure out, because he kept saying, how much money do I have? I said, you don't have any money. What are you talking about? So he's meeting all the agencies in town to see what services are already provided that Mike could partner with him and help him. And then as we get down the road a few months, then we're going to kind of see what we need to come up with to help him to do the services that he's trying to do. But I want him to use everything that's already there because I'm already paying for so many of those services anyway. He has done a training. So he is a recovery, he's came to us as a recovery coach. And now he's getting training as a reentry coach. So people who are coming out of jail, prison, and how to figure out how to get them back into society. So he just finished a week's training with that, and we'll figure out what he's going to do and how we're going to kind of move forward in that area. He's fixing to start some support groups, and he has been trained in the RAP training, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. So it is just kind of a training that helps someone who's struggling in any area with mental health, and just kind of getting them to see what their triggers are, what they might can do just to help them move forward to keep something from escalating severely, getting out of hand. So he has had the level 1 training and the level 2 training. We offered the level 1 training to the community last month. We had 19 attendees, and some of them will just gain from that and use it personally. There's probably 3 or 4 from that we will eventually train to be a level 2 trainer as well, so that we can start offering all of this within the county and it not costing us money to do it once they have the training that they need. The other thing with him and Judge Irwin, we probably need to talk about this. I have had a couple of conversations there with Judge Hand in his mental health court that he has. And so we're kind of trying to figure out if my peer support specialist can be that liaison that might be get to the team judge. So we're just kind of in those learning phases. In a couple of weeks, we're going to go over and see what his court is like and what he thinks his perspective is, and then our side, and see if we can't make something happen to get the clients over there.
Mhm.
Would that be a value? I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're working on that. I just met Judge Hand about 3 weeks ago, and then we had a lengthy conversation last week. So we're just kind of trying to see what we can do there as well.
Okay.
Okay. We've hired one of our part-time peer specialists, Amber Buchanan, and since she hasn't come through formal training, she did a week's training a couple of weeks ago, and so now we're going to sit down and figure out how she's going to start putting what she's learned to work. We also offered, not with y'all's money, but we offered a trauma-informed training for the judicial system. We had about 59 attendees come to that. And from that, there's going to be some more meetings that are going to come. And so what will come of that is just kind of looking at what the judicial system needs when it comes to people who are suffering from mental health, and what are other services that the county is lacking that we can offer to people as well. So someone from the state more than likely will come in and hold that workshop for us. We're trying to figure that out. They're kind of delayed until next year, and I want something sooner. So now there's people trying to figure out how we might get something in the next 2 or 3 months. So just kind of a training session that brings all the right people to the table, just trying to figure out this is what we don't have, and this is what could be helpful to the jail. This is what could be helpful to whomever in the county. And so Judge Mosley and I went to one of these that was offered in Dumas a couple of weeks ago. Judge Mosley just came for a couple of hours, and I sat in for the entire day. And so he was very supportive of that and thought it was worth our time as well. So we're going to be moving forward with that. Do you have any questions for me? That's what we've done these first 3 months.
So you mentioned when we emailed back and forth, requesting the financial disbursement.
So at the end of March, I'll send it in. I just kind of like to do it quarterly.
Okay. Does that work for
first 2,
okay.
3 months, and then you can reimburse whenever, and then we'll do the next 3 months, and I'll just submit all paperwork and everything with it. Is that
Great.
okay? That's easier for me, just not to do something every month.
Yes,
And I'm sure it's
absolutely.
easier for you as well.
Yeah. And so I would say maybe the commissioners court meeting prior to the request for disbursement, that you just come and give us an update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that work?
So Rico, you said he has 6 clients of the drug court. Is he meeting with them as a group, or is he doing like one-on-one?
He
How
does
many hours?
one-on-one, but he is going to start, he has gone to like NA and AA just to see what's offered locally. But now he's going to put his own support group together and figure out how he wants to offer things. And a lot of this is just learning what he can and cannot do to support peer support. And just making sure that what he's trained to and certified for, that we're doing properly. And we're still kind of in those learning stages as well.
Does he have an office or?
He has a little office. The bank, I'm in Amarillo National Bank Building, and I have a very large storage room and cleaned up and painted one of the little offices. So he does have a presence. As we're looking at our big mental health picture, we think, in about a year, we'll have a space for everyone.
Good.
Have a good spot for him. Not that it's a bad spot.
Right.
It's just not the best, but it's not costing me anything. So I'm not complaining.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do appreciate the money.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few other requests. Let's start with the Sheriff's Department. Marcel, since you have 1, 2, 3.
So I have, so I'm gonna go over the first one, which is one that I believe I wasn't here for. I think you all already spoke about it. So I'm sure you guys will have copies. And then make.
I think everyone, I have copies, but I think
In one, I'm gonna have.
everyone's got
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
emailed a copy.
Oh, you don't have
hopefully.
to.
Yes.
Okay. I thought-
Oh, well, I have 3.
Got that one.
Did I?
Okay, so,
I might have put one of them twice.
and I believe that's the one that you all had already discussed, previously. This is one of the vehicles. It's 9306. It's a unit number. It's transmission that we were having, issues with. We were initially trying to wait it out until we got new vehicles. It was gonna be a trade-in, is what we were assuming, but then it's gonna be repurposed and given to, I believe, IT.
Yes, correct.
So we were trying to get the transmission fixed on that. The total cost is $5,105.72. That was through Country Chevrolet. So that was the one I believe that you all spoke about already. You have a second one. If you all just wanted to move forward to that one or do this.
Oh, that one was approved already, the transmission.
No, not.
No,
it wasn't
we
approved?
talked about it. but-
Oh,
Transferred IT, but not for the transmission.
Right.
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yes,
These kind of expenses aren't in our budgeted ARP funds, so we would have to move money from one of our planned items to capital tax.
That was gonna be my question. What category? Because we categorize the use of.
so does the committee want to work on that or if approved or
Y'all have a committee?
the,
Me, Ben and Alicia.
Yeah.
Oh, that committee. I was,
that set up the
yeah,
kind
I
of
was
the
thinking the ARP
budget
committee.
deal.
And so I mean, you could still do like line item transfers like we do out of the other budgets and say you want to move from miscellaneous to cover this. And as long as I know that today, I can set up a line item transfer for approval next.
Okay,
I just need to know where y'all want to take money out of to cover the kind of expenses that aren't in the original.
I think we just need to make a category, whatever the heck the court wants to do, because half the time we don't have black and white.
miscellaneous, that's what miscellaneous
Whatever
is.
we decide on a day. It's. I mean, I've had this problem with this money the whole time. I'm sorry.
So what do we have in our miscellaneous?
Currently there's 19,332.39.
That would cover this, right?
Yeah.
So we just use it all. Whatever we need.
So what do we need? Do we need a motion to authorize the repair of the transmission? I move to authorize ARP funds to be used in the miscellaneous category of ARP to be used for the repair of the transmission in unit number 9306.
Let's do both of them.
Is there, I don't know the other one.
Well, let's go ahead and just do this one since we're on it. Okay, so we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. Okay, any further discussion on this request? All in favor? Okay, everyone. All right, Marcel,
So the second one. Very similar issue. This one, I actually went ahead and made sure that.
Which unit is this?
So the VIN number that originally was provided was inaccurate. So this one is at 6715. So this is gonna be an updated,
Oh, okay.
with the current VIN number.
Prices.
I'm sorry?
The price.
Yes, the price is exactly.
Oh, so I had
Gonna change.
patrol unit 3194. That's wrong.
Yes, ma'am. So that is. This is, I have another one up here if you want to. Okay. And so that's gonna be the replacements for the
Then
third
there's
one.
9342 for the same. one.
I get.
Did, but then I have to change it again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On the old, when they say Barb,
This morning.
unit
So-
number, yeah.
This particular vehicle is also currently down. This is not one that's getting traded.
Yeah.
It is one that's got a little under 120,000 miles, but it's still gonna be utilized for patrol. The amount that we were looking at is $5,713.94. It is for catalytic converter and various sensors that have been damaged as well due to the catalytic converter. So similar situation. The only thing with this vehicle is it's not actually going to IT. This is going to have to remain in patrol until we retire it.
So my question about this one. Is this gonna be the norm now for replacement or like repair?
I would
on-
hope not.
Okay, because I know there's one that just recently we're gonna have to have some major
Yes.
repair on the front end. So, I mean, the patrol stuff, we're gonna take that out of repair and equipment maintenance or?
So generally speaking, yes. It just so happened that the past probably 4 months, we've had just the worst luck you could possibly think of with numerous vehicles. So in the future, I hope that we don't run into this, but I can't necessarily promise that.
Vehicles covered by insurance. Insurance was repairs on that.
On the vehicle that was damaged due to the wreck, yes.
The deductible still has to come out of maintenance and repair.
We just paid it deductible.
So simply put, yeah, I hope that we don't have to revisit this again, but I can't promise that.
So how long does they have any idea how long this is going to take to get this vehicle back into operation? Because I can't imagine that it's easy for y'all.
I don't have an exact date, no. So we're sort of moving vehicles around right now just to where and I know sheriff has been allowing one of our officers to drive his vehicles. There's been, we're just playing musical chairs, so to speak.
Right, with the vehicle, so, okay.
I don't know the exact date. I didn't ask. It would just be dependent upon the parts availability. And that also is through country. They're generally really quick. They actually have this vehicle at location right now. So
Just wait. Okay.
I just told them to hold on to it. They were gonna bring it back. I told them to hold on to it right now. So
Any other questions on this one? I hear a motion?
I move to authorize the releasing of the ARP funds from the miscellaneous
Yeah.
file or line item for repair to the unit number 6715 for the sheriff's department.
I'll second it.
In the amount of $5,700.
Oh, in the amount of $5,713.94.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Was it Chris? Gary, thank you. Yeah. Is that it, Marcel?
yes, ma'am. That was gonna be it.
Okay, so these other two units. I had unit number 3194 and 9342.
So it's gonna be 9342 and 67. It changed this one.
So these two are the same.
Sorry.
These two units are actually the same. I was so confused by all this because all the amounts are the same.
So there's two
I think the
vehicles
numbers are
that
wrong.
were the same. The VIN number was the problem with. the
Oh,
second.
this was the 28,
94 and 6715 are the same.
okay, because that's a 2018 Tahoe. Oh, and
Yeah.
then this one,
There's gonna be 9306 and 6715 are gonna be the two numbers.
9006, the first one that we did.
right?
I have a copy of that if you need that.
9342,
9306.
What's the price on that?
571394.
Yes, so that one is, that was an inaccurate number.
Okay, that one
Just
just
to
can
get
go
That's the
away.
one that he said he had to return.
But this one, you're gonna present it another time?
No, that was the one that initially was, the transmission.
Oh,
So the transmission, and this is the, current.
right, these
Yes.
two.
Yes, those are right.
Okay.
And that's, yes, that's correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Do you want me to get that out?
I got that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Add on that,
Thank you.
or somebody steal it.
Okay. Angelica, are you able to talk to us?
Yes, ma'am. Give me just a sec. I'm driving, so let me pull over, but I can hear y'all. Y'all
Okay.
just can't see me yet.
Do so safely.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Give me about 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so Angelica, we have your ARP project application in the
Yes,
amount
ma'am.
of $10,627.92. Do you want to explain that request?
Yes, this is going to be for the Flex software. The only thing I didn't do, and I kept hearing it, and I totally forgot, is to present it to Craig to make sure everything looked good. But I didn't know if y'all could improve it and then ask him. Oh, I can ask him to look over it. Yes, ma'am. But this is the software. I included the email that I had sent to Mr. Duncan. This is the same sales rep, I think, that everybody else used. But it kind of gives a breakdown of what this actually provides me with. And it's the same system that Borger PD is going to be on, that the sheriff's office is going to be on, and it is going to be for my tablet. So that way I can run returns like a vehicle, driver's license, the plates. This will also actually give me access to the civil process, which I use. So I can serve my papers. And I also, aside of this, had signed up for an e-filing to where if anybody in the state wanted to send me their service papers, they can send it to me through an email. And this way I'll be able to do my civil process servicing through this program and be able to send it back to the courts. I can do offense reports and incident reports as well. So that way, if there's ever a conflict, I know I asked Scott Jordan if he ever had to do any, and he said that he did have some stuff come through the county attorney's office a few times that was kind of a conflict of interest with the sheriff's office. So they sent it to him to do the incident reports, and this would be able to help me do that, as well as if I decide to later on go through any kind of classes to do the environmental, which I plan on doing, environmental crimes. This will just give me access to be able to do all that. So it just kind of gives me all the stuff that the sheriff's office can do with their incident reporting, and then keeping up with the ticketing system. I opted out of doing the e-ticketing because it's going to require me to have equipment. So instead, I just ordered myself some paper citations that I can write out and see kind of how I do through those, because that was going to add another almost $2,000 to this. When I originally went out to ask them for this, the cost was about $15,000. So I got that down $2,000, and then talking to him, I kind of told him my situation, that I'm only a single man department. And so he gave me a discount, which brought it down to the amount you see there. The only other thing I want to point out is this does carry a yearly maintenance cost of $692.76, which will reoccur every year.
And so if approved, you would need to make sure you had that in your budget for next year.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I would present that to be in my budget yearly as well.
Anybody have any questions for Angelica?
This isn't anything that we can branch out from like the current software that you guys have. I mean, it'd be totally different or.
So it's not, I've already made contact with them because I'm a separate agency that has a separate ORI number. This would have to be totally separate. I can't piggyback off of the sheriff's office, but I do, and I did not put it in my deal, but I did get approval from Borger PD because on the last page it does have an agreement that I agree with Borger since we're using their networking to do this, just like the sheriff's office did. They agreed to allow me to do that as well.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion? Anybody have a comment or?
We classify that as technology.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah. Thoughts? Anybody?
And currently there's 60,453.
Okay. Well, I think it's something that is updating the office into the 21st century. And there's no, so I mean, that's what'd you say, 696? Yeah, 692. There's no other added expenditures that you foresee going forward every year?
I think the only thing that would bring it up would be if I added the e-ticketing system later. But like I said, I kind of want to, sorry, I'm gonna have to move my car because I parked in a spot where somebody's trying to get out. Sorry. The only thing I see happening is if I add that e-ticketing system on there, but that's why I got the paper ones just to see kind of how many citations that, you know, I'll be writing to see if it's going to be worth upping the cost. Because eventually, like if I get more services in, civil services in, that's only going to bring up revenue, which is going to put into the general fund. Me doing the citations, I don't know if any of that goes into our general fund or not. I know some of it goes back to the court. So I don't see it going up at all unless I add that, which, like I said, I want to at least give it the next year for me to kind of see where that falls before I add that extra cost onto it.
And did they give you on this contract, is this just 1 year? Or did they give you like a price guarantee for a certain amount of years or anything?
I did not ask about that. So all I know is this is just a quote. And then until I'm assuming it's approved. And then, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be, the expiration date is till 11/15 of 23. And then, of course, the reoccurring, I believe, is going to stay the same. But I can ask those questions if I need to go back and ask before it's approved.
That's all I've got.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? Wait, do you have a motion?
Am I the motion guy today?
Can be.
I move to authorize the approval for the ARP request from Constable in the amount of $10,627.92 to come out of the technology of the ARP account, pending Craig's approval of the contract.
And Angelica, well,
Second.
let's finish. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, so Angelica, you'll get with Craig and
Yes, ma'am.
get this needed information to him and then just let me know. And we'll
Yes,
move
ma'am.
forward after that. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Safe travels.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you. Just blocking somebody with our Hutchinson County logo.
Right.
Look bad.
Okay, the next request is ARP project application from Commissioner Bentley for the cosmetic, but the north and south doors.
But that's we put the doors in a few months ago, but this is the windows on each side, and
Oh, right.
the intent was then to replace the windows eventually too, and that's what this is for. Is to do the side windows. One of them's cracked. I mean,
Yes.
we're taking the grids out and making them clear, just like the doors are.
And the doors look so much better
Yeah,
without that.
and the reason didn't put grids back in the doors was because put in a heavier frame and they didn't match. So now we're trying to make the windows match.
Sounds like a good plan.
I make a motion to approve the windows for the entry doors for $29.81.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. And the next project is also from Commissioner Bentley for a new mower.
And this is gonna be one of those, again, that you're gonna have to move money into somewhere else.
We don't,
It's gonna be a capital asset, and so they'll either. We've got $50,000 of the LATCF funds that we still need to use.
right,
Now there's probably gonna be about 50,000 in technology, and there's still quite a bit in facility repairs.
but we could use those LATCF because we don't have those really
Yeah, they're not really
plugged in anywhere.
dedicated anywhere.
Just take it out of it.
Yeah,
Eddie's mower's been mowing with, it's nearly 15 years old, it needs to be replaced, and we've had to do quite a bit of repairs last year, and it's gonna need more, so it's just getting more out, so.
so which one of these do you recommend?
The Kubota or the John Deere, they're both really good, but I chose choosing the John Deere just because the grass catcher on the Kubota, we don't know when we can get it and the availability of it. So,
Does the John Deere have one?
yeah, they've had it.
So it's ready to go. Okay.
The Kubota might be, well, they're not committing to when we get the grass catcher, so
Okay.
it is a little cheaper and it's just as good, but we could be waiting 6 months or a year to get in a grass catcher. So,
So just to be clear, you did get 3 bids.
oh yeah, we got 3 bids.
Yeah.
What about the trade-in?
We're gonna,
What can we get on that trade-in on that mower?
We could ask the auction people about.
well, no, actually, I haven't asked Dwayne yet. We'll keep it out the county barn and use it to mow the roadside park with the old one, so we don't tear up the new one,
Oh, good idea.
so. Just,
I thought they just used a push mower out there. No?
no, he takes his riding mower.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. I'll make a motion to approve the John Deere mower and Western equipment for $11,400 to be taken out of, what did you say?
LATCF.
TCF.
I'll second it.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. I think that's it as far as ARP. Anybody else?
We're looking around the room for anybody else.
Anybody else need money?
Want some money?
Oh,
Do we have any update on the JP?
I talked to the contractor. He didn't like the idea of an engineer, but looks like we're gonna have to have one. So I've got to get Alicia. And we'll figure out what kind of an engineer we need. And then we'll go from there, and we'll just add it. His charge, whatever it would be, to that money that's gonna cost to fix it. So,
been working.
and then we'll be ready to approve it if you want to approve it.
Okay.
They've been busy anyway. It doesn't make any difference.
Right, the glass guys.
Hurry.
Uh-huh.
He's supposed to be there this week just to get the measurements for the other one. So ordering what you need is what takes so long. You know, the glass and
Right.
the bulletproof materials. So
Okay, anything else on ARP? Okay, item 21, consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban. Gary,
Current drought index is 509. That's action.
22, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. I don't have any requests this time. 23, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
From Gary Alexander, Commissioner, 6 hours of training, Panhandle County Judges and Commissioners Conference. Ben Bentley, Commissioner, 6 hours of training, Panhandle County Judges and Commissioners Conference. Chris Prock, Commissioner, 6 hours of training, Panhandle County Judges and Commissioners Conference. And Roman Alexander, Constable Precinct 1, T. Cole Professional Training completed.
Alejandro.
I'm sorry, Roman Alejandro, Constable Precinct 1, T. Cole Professional Training.
Check and see if he is related.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, item 24, consider and or approve request for the use of the club rooms at the Border Library or Fritz.
I've got May 13th as reserved for a baby shower. That's all I've got.
I have March 18th for a birthday party.
Thank you. Item 25, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers, and or budget amendments.
The sheriff department and the constable for precinct 2 received their state Leo's allocations. So I did a budget amendment to put those funds that they received into training and education line items so that they could spend those. And then also I did an amendment to the sheriff, constable 2, and constable 1 Leo's to put the unused portion from last year into their training and education so that those for that current year.
Okay,
And then I had several just line item transfers from departments, just moving money from one of their line items to another line item.
okay. Anything? Do I hear a motion on that?
I move to approve the line item transfers and additions to the budget.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor? You can just give that, you know. All right, item 26, consider and or approve any advertising, opening, accepting, or awarding bids. Nothing, Nathan. 28, accept reports from elected or appointed officials required by statute.
February 2023 reports were submitted by Kelly Ratliff, County Clerk. Excuse me, Tammy McBrayer, District Clerk, Leslie Ford, Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Amanda Wassong, Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 and Library. Amy Back, County Treasurer, submitted February 2023 financial report. Tax pool rate as of February 1, 2023, 4.54%. Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted written report for dates February 27th, 2023 to March 12th, 2023. Diane Hicks of the HCC WB reported February 2023 financials for the Child Welfare Board with there were no expenditures.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 29 is discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Anybody got anything going on in their precinct or their building?
Lost control meeting tomorrow.
Yes, lost control
9 a.m.
tomorrow, 9 a.m. You're on the committee, come.
I mean, you see it on the bills, but we don't have to say like all the little maintenance things we do every month, week. Okay, then I have nothing to report.
I want everyone to take note of our lovely courtroom benches that we finally got back.
Those look fluffier.
Look good.
Are they
Yeah, y'all
fluffier?
don't get too comfortable out
I
there.
look a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Right. No, they turned out great. Super excited about the way the.
I was gonna add, that reminded me when I looked out there, I was gonna ask something after executive session that, when I was looking at the line items on the salary stuff, do you have an update on the investigator grant? Like, how, have they paid in the first year and like, what's the status of our second year?
Have we got our money?
So,
You made a report on that?
Yeah.
so as far as the payment,
Have we- We did get our money, right?
We get it quarterly.
Okay.
And so at the end of each quarter, I request a reimbursement, and we did get for December, because December was the first month of her salary, so we got their salary. In April, I will request for January, February, and March.
And it seems like about every 3 or 4 weeks, we have to update something in the grant system.
Yeah.
Just saying, right,
We
Laura?
have to do,
Just had to do an update. Basically, a progress report, reporting back to them now. So initially, when you put in for the grant, they ask you what you project. Your number of investigations, arrests, or so forth and so on. I had to report back on that last month. But other than that,
There's
When do we-
a lot of accountability.
When do we know?
Which
about
there
the
should be.
Second year.
really don't know. How to check this out.
Good question.
I just saw there was 50,000 in that line item for investigator. I just didn't know where it was paying out. Like investigator or salary, 50,000 that we budgeted. And I just didn't know how that, I didn't notice that until, I just didn't notice it until I was looking at the jail.
7,000 because it was on full year
Okay,
salary.
I got you.
Okay, anything else on precinct operations?
So next meeting, I hope to have 2 or 3 estimates on the floor.
Oh, right.
We're gonna look at concrete, but I'm afraid that the structural integrity of that concrete under it is not gonna be good enough for polished concrete. So we're gonna go back to probably the tile. Look at some of the tile. That's about all.
Right, really fun stuff. Consider and or approve sale of struck off tax properties and tax deeds. Y'all are free to go if you want to. I know y'all are just waiting for this part. Oh, yay. Okay.
Y'all don't have to go. You're just.
Yeah, I mean, no, you don't have to leave. That's riveting information. Thank you. I saw you, Jason. I saw you falling asleep back there on my comfy benches.
They are not. They do feel way better. They do.
Okay,
You ran them out.
I did.
You never, when I sat back there, you never gave us the option to leave. We had to sit through all of them.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay, the first property is on North McGee. These are all precinct 4.
Yeah.
North McGee Street.
You said they're
These are
all,
all TCG properties, the Texas Community Groups. And the bid for this is $6,500 and the CAD value is $8,000.
Yeah.
Yes, 4439. Empty lot.
so since they're TCG, I mean, unless you guys want to look at all of them, we can approve all of them.
That's what I was gonna
Just all at once, because they're all, I mean, they're just accept the bid that was awarded, like
Like they've already got,
It's
they're
online
holding the money, basically.
there's an online auction that Border does, so.
Yeah.
How many
And-
lots?
That's just one.
It's just one, it's just one big
I have
empty
9
lot.
I have 9 properties though with the
Yeah.
pocket.
Oh.
So they're 106,000 for just that lot.
6,500.
Wow.
Yeah,
Most of them are pretty, I mean, obviously it's TCG online auction, so we don't do much with them, but they're all like 70% or higher of what is the asking price.
right.
There's one a little low, but all of them were close to half. It was kind of surprising.
Yeah, so the next property is 1010 Coble Drive. This is 4753. And it's, the bid was $300. And the CAD value is 1880. Again, it's just an empty lot. Y'all can see. It's an empty lot. The next property is, and
You want me to save you some time?
yeah,
I'll make a motion that we
There we go.
approve all 9 properties.
because they're all basically empty
located in
lots.
For the amount that was given.
Second.
With some decent bids for them. So for empty lots, yeah. So we have a motion and a second to approve these properties that are located all in
Want to look at all.
Chris's precinct.
You did a good job.
And
They're all empty lots.
yeah, basically
Slideshow of them all.
empty.
I actually
empty-
sent in pictures again, but Eddie sent.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards sent all this, emailed and looked them all up and sent that to us.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
Eddie,
I'm gonna
it's great.
I sent the.
And yay, Chris.
I'm gonna-
Chris.
I'm gonna coordinate with him now. I'm let him do all this.
Yeah.
He's retired, so I'm
Is
gonna let him do all that stuff.
lots of good,
But yeah,
Yeah.
Eddie though, because he made a good
That's pretty
display of
cool.
all that.
yeah, very good.
And y'all can't have him. You can't. It's the only border.
Okay, so there's how many properties? 1, 2, 9?
I had 9.
Yes, 9 properties. Chris made the motion. We have a second from Ben. Any further discussion on these 9 properties? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Okay. All right, take care of those properties. And then we have 2 other properties. One is number 1 Hudson Road in Sanford.
Yeah,
That's yours?
I move to approve the offered amount.
Okay, they submitted an offer of 500. Taxes haven't been paid since 2007. It was struck off in 2022 and appraised at $1,510. So
That
we
was
have a
pretty quick,
motion.
2022, and now
Yeah,
it's on,
I know, it is pretty quick.
they have some in the eighties.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's what it looks like, minus the snow, but
Oh, that's no. I
Yeah.
thought- Well, okay. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, any further discussion on this property? All in favor? Okay. Next property is located at 0 Yellowhammer Loop, submitting an offer of 250. Taxes haven't been paid since 2008, struck off in 2014, appraised at $630.
and that's out in,
Oh, it looks like the same
and
picture.
it's got snow on it. Whenever they took these pictures, there was snow on the ground.
Minus the snow. Okay,
So how much was that one again?
250.
I move to approve that offer or accept that bid.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion on this one? All in favor? Okay, that's it for the struck off properties. Do y'all have anything else? Gary,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.